They say when you're a good woman, you don't lose people, people lose you. But not exactly. All right, and let me explain. Listen, you may be a good woman at your core, all right? And I truly believe that. However, that doesn't mean you are not engaging in behaviors that unknowingly are pushing good men away, scaring good men off. Now, let me be very clear. I say good men because I notice on the internet, they'll tell you things that scare men off and not differentiate the fact that a lot of the men you're scaring off need to get the hell on anyway. Like, they're simply not for you. I say all the time, you could meet 100 men tomorrow, 99 of them ain't for you. So we should not put weight in behaviors that scare the general public of men away, because that's a good way to weed them out. And I'm going to mention those at the very end. Some of these things I've seen they put out there that I think is dead wrong. But I know of 9 things that are accurate that you need to be aware of so that you don't fall into this trap and start to create a negative environment around you. So let's get right to it, all right? And of course, be sure to subscribe and like this video. Number 1, playing games. Now, some of y'all might be saying, I don't play any damn games. It's these men playing games. They're the ones that are full of crap. They're the ones that don't know what they want, so on and so forth. Listen, I get it. I understand. But the unfortunate reality is that a lot of you are playing games. And again, maybe not with a malicious intent, but a lot of the advice that women are given, such as playing hard to get. You notice the first word in that is playing, all right? You're playing hard to get, therefore you are playing a game, all right? Don't call too much. Don't do this, don't do that. And the reason why it becomes a game is because you're not being true to yourself. And the reality is that a good man, and again, I stress, this is about the good men, the genuine, well-intentioned, relationship-minded men. Those men aren't going to want to deal with that behavior. Those men can be put off by that, because when someone's not being themselves, they come across as phony. They come across as not genuine. You've seen it yourself dealing with certain men. That's a turnoff. That doesn't look, that's not an attractive thing, all right? So you don't want to get caught up in trying to be something you're not, because again, this leads you down the path of both playing a game, as well as by not being your true self, you don't even get to see if the guy is truly into you. You don't get to see if you guys really can come together and have a great relationship. So you're shooting yourself in the foot in more ways than one. But to go even further than that, like, don't engage in any kind of manipulation tactics, try to make him jealous, doing this, doing that. Like, stop with all of that. Just be real, just be you, behave in the way that you would want someone to behave with you, all right? Because when you establish authenticity, because when you establish being genuine and being real, all right, you now hold them to the standard of doing the same. But if you're being fake, well, guess what? There's a very good chance they're going to be fake with you too. And we don't want that. The second thing that scares good men off is being entitled, or having an entitlement attitude or mindset, all right? So here's the thing. All good men, all generally good men want to do for their woman. All generally good men understand or embrace the idea of providing and to some extent protecting and all these things, all right? They don't have a problem with that. And they don't have a problem doing for you in various ways. The problem because when you have an attitude that says, well, you're supposed to do it, when you have an attitude that doesn't show gratitude, when you have an attitude that doesn't show any appreciation for it, this will kill the situation. I always say appreciation breeds production, all right? And so when a man sees his actions are well received, appreciated, there's gratitude, he'll want to do more. And the reality is, this isn't just with men. This is people in general. Think about you as a woman. If you kept doing for someone and they had an attitude of being entitled to it and not showing that appreciation and gratitude, there's going to come a point where you're going to feel like, I don't want to do this for you anymore. Like, you're so ungrateful. You don't appreciate anything I do. You will feel taken advantage of, all right? And so that will lead you to not want to be bothered with that person anymore. All right, or at the very least to make less of an effort to pour into them. So it's very important as a woman to not get caught up into that. And I think it's very important to point out, because I hear a lot of women saying, well, we're the prize, we're the prize. Listen, stop with all that. All right, listen, I love y'all. And you are a prize, a prize. But this mentality of you are the prize, as if you are on a higher level than him, as if you deserve more than him, as you should be worshiped more than him or something. That's a problem. A good man and a good woman are both a blessing to each other, are both a prize to each other. And when they respect and value each other in that way, they can create an amazing relationship. But when you have this lopsided approach of, well, I'm the prize, you got to do for me, bow down to me, sucker, like that. That's essentially how you're coming across. It's like, yo, why as a good man would I want to be bothered with that? A lot of men aren't. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to deal with that. They're not going to accept that. And for any of you who might be thinking, well, I've seen good men getting treated like that by women, those good men are probably broken on the inside. And they have some deeper issues that have led them to entertaining and engaging with a woman who mistreats them in that way. Plain and simple. The same way that happens to good women, where there are a lot of good women out there dealing with toxic men because they have not healed from their past. So don't allow that to make you think this is actually an acceptable dynamic or that it works in any kind of way. It does not. So the entitlement mindset has to go. Which brings me to number 3, and that's being selfish. All right? Nobody likes a selfish partner. It's plain and simple. I don't care who you are, man or woman, nobody likes a selfish partner. And this kind of goes hand in hand with being entitled. When you have that entitled mindset, it's very easy to make everything about you. It's very easy to forget that it's not about what they're just pouring into you. It's about what you pour into them as well. You know, genuine, real love is not selfish. It's selfless. All right. We're supposed to give of ourselves to each other, pour into each other. Yes, a relationship is give and take. All right. So it doesn't mean you should just be giving and not receiving in return. But you've got to be willing to pour into your partner. You've got to be willing to be considerate of your partner. You have to be willing to understand that they have feelings too. And I feel the need to say that because a lot of women think men don't have feelings. Like, y'all really think we don't get hurt. Y'all really think we don't care all the time. Y'all really think certain things shouldn't bother us. No. Like, again, so many of you have been blinded by emotionally detached, toxic men or men who weren't for you that you don't know how to navigate dealing with a good man, a man who's genuinely into you, a man who is putting his heart on the table for you. All right. So yes, he does have feelings. He does need love. He does need attention. He needs all that as well. So you got to make sure that you don't fall into the dynamic of selfishness or the attitude or the mindset of selfishness, because that will absolutely scare off a good and especially a good, healthy man. So now we got number 4. And 4th on this list of things that scare away men or scare away good men is being too insecure. All right. So you've probably heard me say it plenty of times. Confidence looks good on everybody, and insecurity looks bad on everybody. All right. Now, before I dive deep into the type of insecurity that I'm talking about, let me differentiate some things here. There is the insecurity that's within you due to your own inner struggles, past traumas, things like that that have not been resolved. That's the insecurity that we have to make sure is corrected. But then I do believe that there is insecurity that is created by a partner behaving in a shady manner. Now remember, this is about what scares off good men. So we're assuming here, for the sake of this video, that this man is not engaging in shady behavior. However, I feel the need to say, it will hit my spirit, sometimes when you are a woman who has not healed from your past, even normal behavior looks shady to you. Right? You start questioning everything this man is doing. You turning up your eye to every little thing. So you've got to be mindful of that. Where is this insecurity really coming from? Is it me, or is it really this guy is doing things that creates problems in the relationship? So I always say, like, for example, secrecy creates insecurity. So when we're overly private in a relationship, like in a relationship, we're supposed to be sharing our worlds with each other. So if we're overly private with each other, that kind of secrecy can start to plant the seed, all right? And that seed can grow easily with past issues, or it can grow easily when something new happens that starts to feed the belief that, okay, maybe this person is doing something behind my back. So it's very important that we have open and transparent relationships so that we don't bring that toxic energy into it. But again, I'm not going to knock you, and that's a whole different video about when he's doing things to make you feel insecure. But let's get back to this man's not doing anything wrong. He's a genuinely good man, all right? He's doing his part. But you as a woman are insecure. You as a woman are lacking confidence. You as a woman have low self-esteem. You've got to make sure you handle and address that. I know and I understand that you're not trying to be insecure to be malicious. You're not trying to be insecure to be a problem for him. Because again, some of it may be real struggles. I'll never forget, I had a client one time who she told me like her father told her she was only good for sex. All right, that's all she would ever be good for, is to lay down for a man. And that stuck with her. And he also told her she was ugly. All right, and so her insecurity was created by a horrible father, all right, or a toxic relationship with her father. But still, though I understand that and there's sympathy there, you can't bring that into a relationship and then expect for your partner to deal with it and it not to have a negative impact. You know, there's a level of patience that comes from a good man who's generally into you, especially if there's a connection there, right? But again, I said level of patience. There's a line that you may cross that now it starts to become too much. And so if you become too comfortable in thinking that, well, he should just deal with my insecurity or he should be the one to help me fix this, it's very easy to lose sight of things to where now you're constantly crossing that line. And now you're weighing the relationship down with your insecurities. So it's important that you get healing. It's important that you resolve those past things. It's important that you work on your confidence and you get to a good place. And I also feel the need to say this. You got to get to a place of confidence where losing this man is never going to be worse than losing yourself. Okay? It's important that you understand that, you know what, yes, I may want him, I may want this relationship, I may want things to work, but I cannot lose myself in this, all right? That's with anybody, in any situation. You got to stay true to who you are. You got to find who you are. You got to love who you are. And you can't go down that rabbit hole, so to speak. And I'm connecting that to confidence in the sense that when we don't have that debilitating fear of I'm going to lose this person, all right, we're able to walk and behave in a way that sheds insecurities. Because it's that fear that feeds it. You know what I'm saying? It's that fear that really magnifies it. So when we remove that, we take a huge step in the right direction. So it's very important that you do that. And if you need help with healing, with tapping into your feminine energy, with finding your purpose, with meeting higher quality good men, join my program, special program. Click the link below or go to receivingmyblessings.com. You're going to love it. Thousands of women have joined and have gotten tons of help. I'm telling you, it's changing lives. All right. So check it out. Again, receivingmyblessings.com or click the link below. All right. So now let's keep this moving. And now we are on to number 5. The 5th thing that can scare good men off is a bad attitude or just being negative. All right. At the end of the day, men want peace. All right. And I'm going to say it. Good men deserve some damn peace. I mean, listen, all right? The world sheds so much light on bad men. And hey, hell, I make a lot of videos talking about bad men. But there are a lot of great men out there. There's a lot of good men out there trying to have a good relationship. And they deserve some damn peace, all right? But with that said, if they come across a woman who is too negative, and again, not taking into account, or let's understand that when we see the opposite, it's due to lack of healing in that man. Outside of that, all right, he wants a woman that he can come home to, that can make him feel better, that brings him peace. It doesn't mean you're only his peace and he don't bring you peace. All right? Because the women are quick to say, well, you need to be my peace too. Yeah, of course. But there's ways that he will do it and there's ways that you do it. All right? But you have to make sure you can do it and that you're able to do it. Because if you have a bad attitude or if you are negative, you're going to struggle heavily to get or receive that really good man, or to be able to keep that really good man and have a great, healthy, happy relationship. Now listen, a lot of women, whenever I bring up having a bad attitude or being negative, it's like, well, the men make us this way. All right, listen, I'm not going to deny or ignore the fact that a lot of women have dealt with toxicity from all kinds of men, whether it be their fathers, friends, men they dated, things of that nature. I get it, right? But you can't use that as a scapegoat to remain negative. You cannot use that to validate now being negative with a new man who has nothing to do with it, all right? And again, you have to be mindful of, are you looking for things in him to validate your negativity, or is he actually doing things wrong? All right, because I've seen a lot of situations where the man wasn't doing anything wrong, but the woman is hell bent on trying to find things to validate her negativity, to allow her to keep lashing out, because deep inside she has not healed. Now we already talked about the healing, so we'll leave that alone, but healing is going to always be a huge part of all this, because if you are negative, if you have a bad attitude, then you are a woman that is holding on to something toxic within. Plain and simple. And that needs to be adjusted. You have to own your energy. Because that's another thing I've seen or I've heard a lot is, well, I'm going to give people the energy they give me. Listen, so you telling me you're going to let people dictate energy to you? You're going to let people determine for you how you should behave? Don't do that. No, you need to be a master over your energy. You need to say, no, I'm going to bring positivity into the environment. I'm going to dictate to them. And if they can't deal with it, they got to go. You know what I'm saying? Or you can remove yourself. That's fine. But don't stoop to their level. Don't deviate from that positive energy, that good energy. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you stay on the high road, so to speak. So if you struggle in that area, and be honest with yourself, because I'm not here to beat you up. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you get better. All right? If you genuinely have a bad attitude, or you tend to be negative, or you've heard people say this to you multiple times, because if one person said it, all right, maybe it was just that situation. But if you're constantly hearing it, then you got to give some consideration to what's being said. All right, let's work on it. Let's address it. Let's look into it. Let's not make excuses for it, because again, if you ignore it, you're not only going to scare off good men, you're going to lower your own quality of life. And I don't want that for you. All right, so now let's do number 6. And number 6 kind of goes hand in hand with number 5, and that's being too damn difficult. All right, listen. So again, what did I say already? Men want a woman that can bring him some peace. When you are difficult to deal with, there is no peace there. All right, there is no harmony there. And it becomes a very unbearable situation. This is one of the reasons why some men, not all, but some men don't like even going home, all right? Because home is just drama. Home is another headache. Home is not gonna help him feel better about his life. It just makes things worse. And that's a horrible position to be in, all right? So you really gotta ask yourself, okay, when we talk about being difficult, to give more clarity to it, being combative, all right? As you're probably hearing a lot of people mention, not knowing how to be cooperative. And when I say cooperative, I don't mean in the way of, yes, sir, okay, sir, yes, master. Like, yo, we're not talking about like this, just do everything he says, but we are saying that learn how to flow with him. I'm saying learn how to flow with him. I'm saying if he, again, because we're talking about good men here. If he's a good man, why not trust his lead? All right. And if you can't trust his lead, what's the real issue here? Is the issue him? I would say no. The issue is a fear within you to be vulnerable in that way to allow him to even be a leader in your relationship. And for those of you who say, well, why does he have to lead? Why does he have to lead? And I promise y'all, I'm going to make a video on why the man has to lead, all right? I'm going to break it all the way down. But for right now, I will say this. You got to understand it again. If he is a good, genuine man who loves you, he wants to, one, be that for you. Two, if you're honest with yourself, do you want to carry the burden of leader in the relationship? You really don't, at least not for an extended period of time. You may have moments where you feel like, well, he needs to listen to me right now. I get those moments, but again, what are you setting up for the long term? What's really going to help you be more at ease and peace there? Because I can tell you that the women who have battled on that front, who have tried to have this dual leadership thing, what typically happens is they end up having to essentially be the leader, and it wears them the hell out, and they're not happy. All right, so it may sound good, and again, I'll do a video to break it down so you guys really understand it, because I know some people won't fully grasp what I'm saying, and there's still going to be some resistance right now. But trust me when I say this, it's for the good of the relationship. It is not some dictatorship type of mentality. It is not to rule over women in some negative way. It is simply to create a balance and harmony that everyone can benefit from. But getting back to it of being cooperative and not being difficult, again, just being, this also goes into not being that negative woman, not always being so overly pessimistic, not making things more complicated than they need to be. You know what I'm saying? Again, learn how to go with the flow. And the reality is that in most situations, if not damn near all, the woman who is difficult is the woman who struggles to be vulnerable. That's really what's going on. Because to be cooperative, to allow the man to lead, to go with his flow, and again, go with his flow as far as he's in a real relationship with you, not you're just dating the guy, he's like, let's just go with the flow, I'm not going to tell you what this is. All right? Not that. We're talking about real relationship here. To go with his flow means to let your guard down. It means to be vulnerable. It means to trust. That's where it gets scary. That's where it gets hard. And now, rather than addressing the real issue of those fears, a wall is put up that now makes you come across as difficult. And nothing is solved. Because now we have a battle in this relationship. You're not going to be at peace regardless, because the real issue is deeper than what's going on at that moment on the surface. All right. He's not going to want to continue to deal with this, and it's just going to destroy everything. So we got to be mindful of getting to the root of the issue and understanding why you would even struggle in that area and why you are coming across as difficult. But it definitely needs to be corrected, because if not, it will run the man off. All right, so now number 7, which again, you're going to notice a lot of these just run together. All right. Number 7 is being too controlling. So it's one thing to be difficult with a lot of resistance, because you can look at being difficult as just giving a lot of resistance, not flowing with the guy, so on and so forth. But then there's controlling, where you got to run everything, where you're trying to dictate everything. So a lot of women will give pushback to the idea of letting a man lead because of this concern that he will be dictator over them, not realizing that in return, you end up being dictator over him. You're the one trying to run things. You're the one being overly controlling. And now, again, this hurts you in more ways than one, because the good man is not going to want to deal with that. But you're also putting this unnecessary burden on you. People who try to control everything wear themselves out. All right? Even in business, and this goes for men and women. I've had to learn, as time has gone on, as the business has grown, I have to relinquish control. If I don't, I burn myself out. I drive myself insane. I don't allow myself to enjoy life. I don't allow myself to grow. I don't allow myself to reach the next levels that I need to reach, all because of trying to keep control. So this mindset, this behavior, all right, is unhealthy in all aspects. We've got to learn to let go. It doesn't mean, of course, there's what's the word I'm looking for? I understand that in some situations it's not it's easier said than done, so to speak. But it's something that we need to be mindful of and start working on, all right? But especially more specifically when we're talking about a relationship, if you try to be too controlling, it may feel safe right now. And again, whether you're the business owner or in a relationship, it feels safer. It feels like I'd rather just handle it myself than to have to worry or trust anyone else, or in this situation, that man, to do anything. But it just deteriorates you in the long run. It deteriorates you, and it also, it destroys his ability to show you that he can step up for you in that way, all right? Because again, we're talking about good men. He wants to step up. He wants to show you he can handle it. He wants to provide. He wants to pour into you. But by you trying to control, you are choking out his ability to do that. And you're not allowing him the chance to show you that he can. And so now it'll be this constant battle forever, and you're not going to be happy. Period. You're not. So it doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for the relationship, and it damn sure ain't going to work for him. So you being too controlling, big problem. We got to fix it. We got to work on it. And like I said, I don't care if it's relationships or business. It's something to be mindful of and to start to improve. Now we have number 8. All right. And again, I keep saying it. All these things, they're really all connected when you hear them. All right. Number 8 is being too damn independent. So I'm sorry I have to laugh, but it's just a reality. Listen, here's the thing. Let me first start off by saying this. I believe most men respect a woman's ability, and listen to the words I'm using specifically, a woman's ability to be independent. I think most men see great value in that, and it is respected, all right? The problem is not in your ability to be independent. Your problem is trying to impose that independence onto the relationship or the dating dynamic, all right? Because now it becomes a conflict. Because again, and I've said this millions of times before, relationships to thrive require interdependence. We've got to be able to lean on each other. We got to be able to pour into each other. We got to be able to trust each other. All these things is necessary for the growth and the success of a relationship. If people are too independent, it will kill the relationship. And now, again, just so you understand, I'm not just picking on, and I'm not picking on anyone, but I'm not just pointing out or singling out independent women. If a man, consider this, if you got a relationship with a man who was overly independent, he doesn't talk to you about any decisions he makes, because to him, I'll make the decisions my damn self. He doesn't consider you in things that's going on in the relationship. He doesn't include you in things. He doesn't share things with you. He's always on, like, if he acts too independently, that's going to bother you. That's going to hurt you. That's going to make you feel like, what the hell am I here for? Why are you even in a relationship with me? This is how you're going to behave. So guess what? That's how the man feels. Like, what the hell am I here for if you're going to always do it yourself? What the hell am I here for if you essentially have a wall up, not allowing me in, not allowing me to do for you? And again, not allowing him to do for you is essentially not allowing him to love you, not allowing him to pour into you, to give to you. So you're restricting the flow of love in and out. How is the relationship going to work if that's happening? It's not. So you've got to understand and work on learning how to let that man do for you, learning how to let that independent mindset go once trying to date someone or in a relationship. And again, when I say let it go, I don't mean, as a woman, you got to do what you got to do, right? And there's going to be situations where you can't be waiting around for anybody. I get that. But when you're with him, if he's offering, allow him to do for you. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you have to throw everything on his shoulders. It doesn't mean you have to run behind him to ask him to do this and do that. It just means allow him to pour into you. Allow him to be an actual partner and not just a man who's filling space. Because if you do that, again, what good man's going to want to stick around? People, and I say people because I'm talking about men and women, want to feel loved, desired, and valued. And when a relationship is too independent, or there's individuals acting too independently, you kill that vibe. You kill those things. And you send everything going left. So being too independent and not embracing interdependence when necessary is definitely something that will scare away a good man. And now the last thing that will scare off good men, or scare good men off, is not showing enough interest. All right? So listen, too many women have this mentality of, he needs to chase me, I'm the prize, it's up to him, he needs to pursue me, all these things. And I'm not saying I disagree with the pursuing part to a certain extent, right? But my concern and what I see as a real issue is that those things are being scapegoated or used as an excuse to have a wall up, to have this I'm going to sit back and watch approach, and essentially you're not reciprocating. You're not pouring back into him. You're not showing desire and interest. So many of you have had experiences where you may have been dating a man, and let's say for a month, 2 months, whatever, he was on point. He was doing everything right. He was really making an effort, right? And then out of nowhere, it stopped. It was gone. And you're like, what the hell? He must have been playing games. He's been full of crap, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes that can be the case. But more times than not, more times than you may realize, he stopped because you weren't pouring back into him. Because you were not reciprocating. Because you were not showing him the interest and desire that he needed. Because again, everyone wants that from the person that they're really into. Everyone wants to feel loved and wanted. And so if you're not allowing yourself to do that, and be real with yourself, because if you're not allowing yourself to do that, there's one or two reasons. Either you're just not really into this guy, and you're only entertaining him because, well, maybe you don't want to be alone, maybe you're bored, maybe, your friends and family say he's a good guy, give him a chance, various other reasons we can mention. Or you have a wall up and you're scared to be vulnerable. And you're noticing this reoccurring theme in a lot of these behaviors that scare men off. The root issue is a fear of vulnerability. And you've got to address that. You've got to correct that. You've got to be willing to show him you like him. You got to be willing to express to him, hey, I want to see you. I want to hear from you. I miss you. All these things are good. And listen, look at it as just being true to yourself. If that's how you feel, be willing to let it out. Because again, the right man is going to love those things and embrace it. And it's going to fuel him to want you more and to pour into you more. But yes, can it scare the wrong man off? Yes. Which brings me to this point that I have to make. Because I noticed on the internet, as I said in the very beginning of this video, people giving pointers of what scares men off, not considering the fact that this is what's going to scare off the wrong men, which is good. We want to scare off the wrong men, all right? But some of y'all take it as, let me not engage in these things because, again, you're being told it scares off men, not showing you that it's a difference between wrong man and right man, or wrong man and good man at the very least, all right? So let me just run through 3 quick things that I believe is horrible advice that people are giving that you have to change your mindset on, all right? So that first thing real quick, oversharing. I see people saying, oh, don't overshare. Don't say too much. Listen, let me make it clear. I'm going to make it quick. If the man is genuinely into you, he's not going to have a problem with that. That's not going to scare him off. That's not going to be a problem. When there's a genuine connection, and I'm all about making you guys be ready and being able to embrace real connection. That real connection is going to love how much you share with them. The oversharing only pushes away the man who's not serious, or the man who is not emotionally ready to be vulnerable in that way, to open up, to also share of himself. He does not want that depth to the relationship. He's trying to keep it on the surface. But that's not what you want. And again, that means he's not ready or he's not the one for you. So guess what? Overshare. Like, let it out. Because you're going to make it easier for you to see who's for you and who's not. The second thing I've seen also is committing too soon. All right. oh, wanting a relationship too soon is going to scare the man off. Again, majority of men, when they're really into a woman, when they see this woman and they think, yo, this is potential here, this could be the one. And yes, that happens all the time. He's not scared off by relationship, you want a relationship too soon, so to speak. Hell, he might want it sooner than you do. All right? It's only going to scare off the man who is either lukewarm, all right, not emotionally ready, or just not really into you like he's just not for you, period. So again, now I'm not saying force the desire for commitment for the sake of seeing who's real. I'm saying be true to your desire of commitment. If it happens in a month, yo, then put it out there. Because also people are not explaining the fact that it's not about time. It's about how much quality time we spent together learning each other. So essentially, if we've only known each other for a month, but we went out on 2 dates, we've talked here and there, we would probably need more time before we can decide that we need a relationship. But let's say it's been 2 weeks, but for the past 2 weeks, it's been like, we just been diving into each other. We're talking every day. We're spending hours on the phone at times. We're spending all this time. We are really engaging with each other, and there's a real connection there. Why do we need several more months? It's because we're learning what we need to learn faster than those people who knew each other for 3-4 months. There are people who know each other for years who won't know you as good as someone that you may have spent quality time with in 1 month. All right? I kind of explained that wrong, but you get the point. The point is, time is not the decider of this thing. So be mindful of that. And then the last one, real quick, is putting him on a pedestal. Now, listen, I have a video about putting a woman on a pedestal. And I do agree with the idea of you don't want to put them on a pedestal to where you've devalued yourself. You don't want to put them on a pedestal to where you've essentially put them higher than God, all right? That's not what we want to have happen. However, I don't want you to misconstrue that or misunderstand that to mean that you should not value him in the way that you want him to value you. That you should not separate him from the pack of other men. Like I tell men, you should not be treating your woman like you treat other women. That doesn't make sense. She needs to see that she's on a pedestal higher than the rest. I do believe the same thing for your man. That man needs to know that he's on the pedestal higher than these other men that you deal with or have entertained, all right? So that kind of pedestal is okay. But if you're putting him on a pedestal that, again, is putting him above you and all this stuff, yeah, that's unhealthy, all right? So just be mindful of how you're looking at that. But, again, I had to point these things out because too many people are receiving either misguided advice or they're misinterpreting the advice. And they're applying it the wrong way. And you got to always understand the difference between what scares off men in general, who are not serious about you, who are not for you, and what scares off the good man. And I want you to be able to receive, embrace, and experience an amazing relationship with an amazing man. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. I pray you receive the man who wants to love you, not just use you. And the reality is that there is a man out there for you. There is a man who wants to cherish you, honor you, and is going to fall